Hi, hello everybody. My name is Yare. I'm a Cuban American here in Texas, and in this video I'm going to react to this very well-known and famous YouTuber. His name is Kurt Cas. I hope I am pronouncing the name correctly. Excuse my language, my English, because English is my second language. As I mentioned, I am Cuban. I live here in the United States. I've been in the US for quite a few years already. And the reason I want to react to this series, or well, specifically to some portions of the series of videos that Kurt, the South African guy, made in Cuba, is because, you see, as a Cuban, I have seen many videos of tourists who go to Cuba. Some people dare to criticize more. Some people stay in the polite side, so they try to not be so opinionated, or however it is said. What I liked the most about Kurt's video, or videos, series of videos, is that he's so sincere, and he tries to do in Cuba the same thing he does in every single country he goes, which is go with the people and visit the places that are outside of the tourist areas and get into the neighborhoods. And like, for example, he gets into this place which is supposed to be a house, and there's actually, when you see him going downstairs through those stairs that are basically falling down. And then when he gets upstairs, there's this guy that comes out of one of the houses. Well, those different doors you guys see there, that's what in Cuba is called a solar. What is a solar? Bueno, it is a place that used to be a house before 1959. Before the criminal communists took the country, and they expropriated the original owners and gave the houses to many families. So those are basically one, probably two houses, huge houses, beautiful houses that were divided into and sectioned into many tiny rooms, and people adopted them, making a small kitchen, a tiny bathroom, and that's what a solar is in Cuba. So he got into one of those. He dared to go up there, basically not knowing what was expecting him. This guy comes out and shows him, because he wants to go to the rooftop, and he wants to just, take a look at the views. And you see, usually people in Cuba are very friendly, they're very nice and very welcoming. If it was here in America, for example, somebody would say, excuse me, this is private property. What are you doing here? Who are you? Who invited you? Get out of my property. That's the best case scenario. But not in Cuba. Especially if you're a tourist. You are so very welcome. So he's showing the real Cuba. He's not just going to the nice beaches. He's not just going to the nice restaurants and the nice places and the center of Havana. He's getting involved in the real Cuba. The Cuba that many people know, but not firsthand, secondhand. Well, he's showing it to you firsthand. And for that, I gotta praise you, Kurt. That was amazing, because not all the YouTubers, especially the people who visit Cuba, because Cuban YouTubers do it, but it's videos in Spanish, so many people don't know them, they don't watch them, etc. Also, he is showing people the real life in Cuba. Those lines you saw outside what he called a market, which is basically a store. That's a daily bread of Cubans. And listen to me, I've been outside of Cuba for quite a few years already. Like 17 years probably. I'm in my 40s now. And I came to America, especially at the age of like 28. And I got out of Cuba, actually, it will be 20 years next year, so 19 years since I got out of Cuba. But I was born in Cuba. I was born in the late 70s, and then I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And that Cuba you see right there, it's the same Cuba, it's just more destroyed. It's just worse, uglier. You can see the beauty through the aging and the destruction, but yeah, it's more destroyed. It's you know, it's awful now. It's very sad. This is the first clip. Let's get into the clips I want to react to. Here goes the first clip.
¿Qué más? ¿Todo bien? ¿Qué haces?
¿Qué haces?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Ay, qué lindo.
Eres de aquí, ¿no?
Cubana.
¿Cómo te llamas? Cubana. ¿Qué más? ¿Todo bien? Yo soy de Sudáfrica.
Sudáfrica.
Sí, pero vivo en Colombia.
¿Para dónde vas ahora? Colombia, wow.
Boxeo.
Vamos a la escuela, vos.
Pero boxeo. Sí, sí,
¿No
sí.
quieres una chica?
No, todavía no.
Mi
Falta.
amiga.
Coño. Ah, sí.
Casa
Ahora-
sola, vivimos sola, casa sola.
¿Dónde
Mira,
vas a estar?
Mira,
Ahora.
vamos a la escuela, vos, y viramos. Y regresamos.
Ok,
¿Vamos con
ok.
usted?
Recreamos. No, ahorita. Voy a hacer...
¿Coge el número?
¿Tú no tienes teléfono?
Sí, tengo.
Ay, Dios mío, qué rico está.
¿Viste? Ahora sí te encontraste dos muchachitas lindas, ¿ves?
Dale, toma. Listo, nos vemos.
Ya,
Chao.
bueno, me llaman,
Ok. Diablo. I'm not gonna write them, but it was just for the video.
Well, you just saw it right there. So I guess now you understand why they say that Cuba has the cheapest prostitutes of the world. It is true. Sad, but true. The conditions of life in Cuba, the situation in Cuba is so rough. And I can say about this, I can talk about this, I can give my opinion about this, because I have lived outside of Cuba, but not only in America. I lived in Central America, and I have never seen what I lived in Cuba and what my people live in Cuba. It's horrendous. It's horrible. So the situation in Cuba is so awful. When you wake up in the morning and you have no food in your fridge, no food in your kitchen, and you try to figure out how to find a piece of bread, how to afford somebody who is selling a sandwich, like Kurt showed in his videos, how to afford it so you can go outside and start your day with at least a piece of bread. Forget about a bar of soap. Forget about clothing. Forget about a decent home where you can live. Forget about that. We're just talking about sometimes something as peculiar as a piece of bread. So many young girls, many young women, and even some mature women, they go outside trying to catch tourists. Because of course, tourists, they bring dollars. They bring foreign money. They can bring stuff. At least they can pay for a meal, for a nice meal at a restaurant. And that's okay. They'll do whatever they have to do. Whatever, guys. And these are the so-called jineteras. Whenever you hear the term jineteras, those are the Cuban prostitutes, but the ones that sell themselves to tourists, to foreigners, not to Cubans. And they would do especially, of course, for money, but for anything. And their ultimate goal is that these tourists will fall in love with them and will marry them and take them out of the country. This is not something new. It's not because the country is such a bad shape. Sorry. This is not something new. It's not because the country is in such a bad shape due to the pandemic or due to the bad economy in Cuba. Well, we've always had the same bad economy since 1959, that the dictator destroyed the country, one of the most beautiful and prosperous nations. He completely destroyed it. And I was born in the late 70s, and that's all I remember. That's the same Cuba I remember. And I do remember those jineteras, or those prostitutes. I can't judge them. I never did it. I would have never done it, because I was raised completely different in such a poverty. But my dad always taught me, you never do that. Honor is more important than a meal. Honor is more important than clothing. But other people were taught different. Or they made their own decisions, and I can't judge them. That's the cruel reality of Cuba. Here's another clip.
¿Qué?
Esos malos nos dejaron botar ahí.
¿Ah?
Nos dejaron botar, no hicieron ni siquiera la media con nosotros.
¿Cómo así?
Ni siquiera se sentaron a conversar. Esos malos en serio.
Que hablas tan rápido para entender. ¿Qué dijiste? Otra vez en español.
Que se fueron y nos dejaron sola ahí.
Yeah, these girls have been following us around.
I know.
This is the other scene from the beach that probably many of you saw already. And what's going on here? Well, it's these girls that he said hi to them while they were in the water, and then they got out of the water, and they, believe me, I'm telling you, believe me, they tried to find them. That's what these girls did. Because these girls talked to themselves and said, well, let's see if we can get these guys and get involved with them. That's just the way it happens. And listen, many tourists that go to Cuba are seniors or more mature people, older people. And still they do the same. But when it is young guys like Kurt and what was his name, friend, the Korean guy, it's, fresh meat. It's basically fresh meat. So that's why, the girls were like, oh my goodness, this is delicious. You understand what I'm saying? So basically, they are following them. And that's their way to offer to them. If they say, we want to meet you guys tonight, where do you live? We're going to go pick you up. They will be ready to spend the night, in the morning, in the afternoon, and whatever. And they would do whatever, anything. So the part he said, oh, you guys talk too fast, I couldn't understand. And she said, ustedes son malos, nos dejaron botar y no nos hicieron la media ni nada. I know, I said the same thing. What they said was, you guys are so bad. That was their way to flirt with them. You guys are so bad. You left us all alone back there. You didn't even stay there to, be our company back there. That's basically what she said. No nos hicieron la media. But that language she used is not a proper Spanish. It's a Cuban slang. No nos hicieron la media. La media means socks. The socks you wear under your shoes. Well, because in Cuban slang, hacer la media, to make the sock, if you translate it to English, doesn't make any sense. But in Spanish, in Cuba, hacer la media is like the sock that accompanies the foot, or two socks that accompany 2 feet. They're together, they're bound together, they go together. Or that's what they were trying to say. So like a friend, when a friend tells another friend, can you come with me, I don't know, anywhere. Okay, would you come with me to the store, for example? Oh, no, I'm busy right now. Come on, hazme la media. Do me the sock now. Accompany me, come with me. That's what they said. And basically, they were waiting there. They were waiting there for an offer to go out, to spend the rest of the evening, to spend the night, to whatever. And of course, they expect something in return. Sadly, this is the situation in Cuba. The way they approach Kurt and his friend is not a proper Spanish. You can see these people, both these two girls at the beach and also the other two girls in La Habana Vieja, Old Havana. They basically have no vocabulary, basically no education. Because another girl, somebody who is well educated, will have some other type of education. But of course, the ones that are educated enough will not offer like they did. At least not like that. So, this is the two clips, the first two clips I wanted to react to. What he showed there is the truth about Cuba. So if you go to Cuba, if you guys go to Cuba, chances are that even if you don't want it, you're going to have lots of offers from many young girls. Many young girls. And they will do it for anything as simple as a bar of soap or $10. That's the way it is. So now the last clip I want to react to. This one got me really, really angry. Really angry. These two experiences he had. And here's the clip. I'm just gonna post the one clip, but I'm gonna talk about the two situations, which is part of the reality in Cuba.
José. Ok. No vas a tumbarme, ¿no? Yo sé, la gente de aquí quieren aprovecharme. Yo sé.
Yo fui a le di a aquel guardia de la esquina, le di $1,000 por una talla. De la esquina le di. Sí. Qué bueno conmigo.
Buenas tardes. Buenas, amigo. La cooperativa.
Cooperativa de jefe.
El jefe de cooperativa.
Jefe cooperativa.
Ah, vamos a ver.
In the check.
Buenas tardes. ¿Eso es la cooperativa?
Sí.
No, eso no
Vaya
parece.
cigarro,
Es cámara de seguridad. Listo.
No, amigo, yo quiero ir a la cooperativa. Eso no es.
¿Esta?
Sí, esta.
Pero yo escuché que es como un lugar más.
Casa de los trabajadores.
La cooperativa de la
La
casa.
fábrica ahí, mira la fábrica.
La fábrica.
Sí,
Sí, yo quiero ir a la fábrica.
No, la fábrica cerrada.
¿Cómo así cerrada?
Está en restauración. Ahora tú, jefe. Ajá, de pre.
¿Puedo ver? ¿Qué tiene?
Explícale.
Mira, esto está abierto. Estos son los sellos muy importantes para la salida del país.
I don't know if I should laugh or what. I'm laughing now, but this clip and the clip where Kurt goes to the barber shop and the guy is trying to charge him 1,000 pesos. I mean, that's like 10 times more the cost of a haircut in Cuba. But this clip and that one of the barbershop, I got so angry that I wanted to jump through the screen and grab these guys and tell them a couple things in Cuban Spanish. Because, come on guys. So you are seeing very clearly that he wants to go to La Cooperativa. He wants to go to the factory where they make the Cuban puros, the Cuban cigars, the famous Cuban cigars. He wants to go to the store, directly to the store. He wants to have the experience. He wants to pay for one cigar, just one cigar. And then you see these people here. And unfortunately, sadly, this is the reality of Cuba. And especially with tourists, they dare to do that because most of the times it's tourists that just go once. So they can rip them off and they won't see them again. And even if the tourist goes to the police and files a report or anything, basically nothing happens. I was even scared because, I saw the footage and I was like, what are you doing? Why are you going upstairs? So you see this older guy that's taking him upstairs. And the other guy at the beginning that was telling him, oh, you want the cigars? Oh, yeah, come on over here. He's like, no, I want to go to La Cooperativa. And then the woman also saying, oh, yeah, somebody's going to get the keys. Oh, come on. And unfortunately, many Cubans are like that. Many. And I have seen so many videos. There's many other wonderful YouTubers that my husband and I follow. And they have been in Cuba. And oh gosh, it's a shame. It is a shame. Because they will try to rip you off all the time. They will offer you anything. They will cheat. They will lie to you so that you buy their products. So let me tell you what was going on there. Because of course, that's not a factory. Even though they said, oh yeah, the factory's over there. It's just closed right now. And Kurt is so funny, he's so cute when he says, oh, ¿cómo así? ¿Cómo así que está cerrada? What do you mean it's closed? Of course not. That was not a factory. That was not a factory. That was like some type of smuggling situation, a black market situation going on there. So you would wonder, how did they have those boxes of cigars? Because remember, cigars are very expensive. They're expensive for the tourists, but even for Cubans, they're out of reach. Specifically, those fancy cigars that are for tourism. So how do they get them? Well, somebody who works for real at the factory, they steal all the materials, everything, little by little. And they produce those cigars at home with all the materials. Everything, all the materials, because remember, everything belongs to the revolution. Everything belongs to the dictatorship. So how do people survive? They steal. They steal from the dictatorship. And they produce them at home, and they have to, hide. Please don't say anything. Come over here. That's why you saw the whole thing. It was like they were trying to show a crime scene. It was like a mystery movie. That's why. The guy even said the government allows us to do this once a month. If the dictatorship saw the video, these people are in trouble right now. They should be in trouble right now. Because that's the only way they got those cigars. It's by stealing the materials and somebody producing them at home. And then you see the other guy, when he saw that the black guy was able to sell a couple of cigars for $25, he was like, give me a couple of them. Let me see if I can make some money here. I give it to you for $15. Okay, for $10. I just need the money, some money. So that's what people would do in an awful situation called the Cuban Revolution, the Cuban socialism, communism in Cuba. It is sad. So if you go to Cuba, that's what's going to happen. When people ask me, Cubana, what do you think? I would love to visit Cuba. And I say, don't go to Cuba. That's going to be your experience in Cuba. Everything is super expensive. And in addition to that, they charge you more because they want to rip you off. So that's the truth about my country. That's the truth about my Cuba. And yes, I wanted to react because I wanted to tell people that's not an exaggeration. That's Cuba. And all the lines to buy something and the other videos where all they had was sandwiches. Yeah, best case scenario, at least you can find some sandwiches. No more than that. Nothing else. Bread with something, that's a sandwich. Bread with whatever, That's a sandwich. And that's the best you can find in Cuba. And people would do anything for a couple dollars for a meal. Well, guys, and my video has come to an end. I want to thank Kurt very much for the type of videos he made, for doing in Cuba what he does in every single country he visits, where he just is a free spirit and he goes outside of the comfort zone that our countries are created for tourists to see and to view and to be comfortable and nice and well treated. He's walking down the streets and he is dealing with the real Cubans, their realities, how they live and how they are. And unfortunately, that's the reality of Cuba. That's what we have been living in 64 years, where people would do anything. Black market, whether it's cigars, whether it's food, anything to get some money. They will sell their bodies for a couple of dollars or for a meal or for a husband to take them out of the country. And they would even risk their lives in the sea. And they would rather get drowned in the sea than to remain in Cuba. That's our reality. Thank you very much to each of you, and bye-bye.